Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Daryl, please join in because I know you'll have questions for Kathleen.
Always.
As well. Always. And our guest is Kathleen Allan. She's a retired nurse. She's created something that I think is really, it struck me as being so timely. I called immediately this morning at 4:30 to find out if she could be on the show today, and made different arrangements. And the reason is it's called A Time of Remembrance. It's a group of community leaders and volunteers have joined together to put this Time of Remembrance campaign together for collective mourning of the 200,000 plus COVID deaths that we have just in the United States. Kathleen, thank you very much from all of us. And I'm assuming that this is not only for people in the U.S., this is international.
Yes. Thank you, Mark. Thank you both for having me on today. I am so grateful for the opportunity to share with you about A Time of Remembrance. And this is such a tragedy for the United States, with over 210,000 lives lost, and for our world with over 1 million lives lost. So we are hoping that this sharing of compassion will just spread far and wide, and we want to reach as many people as we can.
We should point out that this is taking place on the 10th of October at 10 a.m., and that's local time in the Midwest. Is that how that's going to work?
Well, it's next Saturday, 10/10 of 2020, and we're inviting people to pause next Saturday at 10 a.m. their local time. Anywhere they might be, to take 10 minutes just to pause and reflect and pray in their own way for those who have lost their lives to COVID and for their grieving families.
We talked earlier today. You personally don't have any COVID deaths in your family, and that is remarkable. That's really terrific. Have you talked to families and people about A Time of Remembrance and their particular family members who they have lost?
Yes, Mark, I have not, thankfully, lost anyone in my family to COVID. However, my niece, Ashley Bernardi, who is one of my partners in this project, she's 37, and she has her own media company in Washington, D.C., and Ashley, sadly, has lost young colleagues to COVID, and her friends, have left behind small children. I mean, it is absolutely heartbreaking.
One of the things that, as you told me that earlier, at first we were told young people are not going to be affected, but it turns out that that's not true. That in reality, there's, everybody is, anybody of any age can be affected by COVID-19.
Absolutely, and I think we've all seen news stories of people of all ages, from small children, and over every stage of life, affected, who have died from this virus.
And then people with a pre-existing condition, people with a compromised immune system, are hunkering down. Can we talk about you for a minute? Is that all right?
Yes. Yes, I'd be happy to share about that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and which is the heartland of America. How are you hunkered down, you and your family?
Well, Mark, I have a very rare immune deficiency disease that if I would happen to become infected with COVID would be a very, very serious threat to my health and to my life. And so I have been isolated at home since March. And my family, my husband and my daughter, have also been isolating because they have to be so careful about risking any exposure and then infecting me.
And what about your husband going to work, your daughter going to work, going to school, even going to the supermarket? How are you handling all that?
Well, my daughter, fortunately, has been able to work remotely, and my husband has as well. We are truly blessed to have a friend who does all of our grocery shopping and errands for us, because the three of us cannot. My doctors have just warned that they do not want me or my family out shopping.
When the groceries arrive, do you spray them down, wipe them down before you bring them into the house?
We still do follow those precautions.
Wow.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's really hit home then with you.
Oh, it absolutely has, because my mother used to always say, "There, but for the grace of God go I." I mean, we are all vulnerable to this virus, and I have to take every precaution.
You're a retired nurse. I believe you specialized in women's health and education?
Yes.
Using your nursing background, how would you have taken precautions early on with COVID? I'm not trying to be political. I'm trying to be medical.
Well, that's certainly not my area of expertise, but I'll speak to it for just a moment. I believe that this is just basic public health 101, and we need to be following science and listening to public health experts. But this time of remembrance really is about pausing and recognizing that we have a need to acknowledge the lives that have been lost, and we need to show compassion for their families who are hurting. There's just been, somewhat of a national silence, and I think that we need to mourn. We need to share this loss. This is how we heal each other as human beings.
Looking at Mark Markham, he is a collaborator. What will he be doing with A Time of Remembrance?
Well, Mark is in Baltimore, and he is sharing about this with his thousands of contacts throughout the United States and the world. But I'm guessing that Mark will express, we really haven't talked exactly. We've been so busy with all the details. I'm guessing that Mark will be expressing his sympathy by playing beautiful music.
Got it. That sounds good. We're almost out of time. Is there a website for more information, or is this just something that everybody needs to remember at 10 o'clock local time this Saturday?
Well, two things. I think the beauty of this initiative is the simplicity, and we are just inviting people 10/10/2020 to pause at 10 a.m. their local time for 10 minutes to reflect and pray in their own way. But we do have a Facebook page, A Time of Remembrance, that has a little more information that people can visit.
Listen, we really appreciate you. I want you to hold on a second. I'm Mark Alyn. We're out of time, but we're going to be back and spend some time with Daryl Wayne and talk about life in these here United States as Late Night Health continues.